Welcome back to my channel. When the gavel came down, Robyn Brown still believed she was in control. But the illusion shattered the moment Meri and Janelle stood up. In one heartbeat, Robyn's flawless image, her flawless house, her flawless calm, collapsed like glass under pressure. This isn't just a court case. It's a reckoning. A war over everything that was stolen, lied about, and buried beneath years of manipulation. So let me ask you, if you had to choose between keeping your peace or exposing a thief in your own family, which would you choose? Tell me in the comments, because what unfolded next would make even the coldest courtroom feel like a battlefield. The air inside was sharp, sterile. The hum of the AC barely covered the sound of nerves breaking. Robyn sat at the defense table, wrapped in a beige blazer that once screamed elegance. But today, it felt like armor cracking under truth. Her fingers twitched, betraying the calm her face tried to fake. Across the room sat Meri and Janelle, shoulder to shoulder, no distance left between them. Two women who barely spoke for years, now bound by something far stronger than sisterhood: justice. The judge entered. Case 438D, Meri Brown and Janelle Brown versus Robyn Sullivan Brown, civil complaint, financial misconduct, property fraud, and unjust enrichment. Robyn winced. The words sliced through the air. Meri rose first, her heels echoing across the marble floor. "I sacrificed for this family," she began, voice steady, eyes blazing. "For years, I watched my income, my effort, my devotion disappear into a void I was told was family investment. But it wasn't family. It was theft." She paused, lifting the first exhibit. Paper trails, transfers, signatures. Every line pointed to one name: Robyn Brown. When the people closest to you build a kingdom from your bricks and then lock you out of the castle, that's not family. That's betrayal. Janelle's jaw tightened. The next to take the stand, she walked slowly, deliberately. "I'm not here because I'm bitter," she said. "I'm here because I'm broke." The audience stirred. Cameras clicked in silence. "I sold everything. LuLaRoe, Plexus, all of it. Every dollar went into the family pot. That pot bought Robyn's mansion. And when I asked for help buying my own home, Cody said it wasn't feasible." She looked directly at the judge. "So tell me, if the house was paid for by many but held in one name, is that ownership or deceit?" Then came the evidence: bank records, joint account logs, and one message that silenced the room. "Make sure it's just in your name. Don't tell Meri or Janelle until it's done." Cody Brown, the silence was deafening. Christine sat in the gallery, expression calm but eyes full of fire. Cody wasn't in court that day, because this wasn't about him anymore. This was the women reclaiming their power. Robyn was called to the stand. She rose, trembling slightly. "I didn't want the house to divide anyone," she said. "I just wanted security for my kids." Meri's attorney leaned forward. "And is it true that as the only legal wife you had access to family accounts others didn't?" "Yes." "And did you inform Meri or Janelle that the house would be solely in your name?" "No, Cody said it would be easier that way." "And did you know they helped fund it?" Robyn hesitated. "Yes." The truth was now on record. The judge called for recess. The women stood. Meri leaned against the wall outside, arms folded. Janelle sat quietly on the bench, head in her hands. Inside, Robyn sat alone. No cameras, no Cody, no TLC production spin. Just a woman staring at the ruins of a life built on borrowed money and borrowed trust. When court resumed, the judge's tone was calm but final. "It is the preliminary finding of this court that the Flagstaff property was funded significantly through pooled family income and misrepresented at purchase. Effective immediately, the home is frozen from sale or transfer pending full review." A gasp rippled through the gallery. Robyn didn't lose her home yet, but she lost the illusion that it was truly hers. Meri glanced at Janelle. One small nod. Not victory yet, but something close. Robyn's voice trembled. "I didn't mean for anyone to feel excluded." Meri turned to her, her voice like ice. "You didn't mean for us to feel excluded. You just didn't care whether we were." The gavel struck. Court adjourned. But that wasn't the end. Because the next morning, the judge announced a new witness, a former financial advisor who once worked for Cody Brown himself. Brent Mallory, the man who held the receipts. "I advised them never to use family funds unless every wife was on the title," he said. And what did Cody respond? Brent looked up. He said, "They'll never ask. They trust me." You could hear hearts breaking in that silence. Brent produced emails, financial logs, records of meetings where both Cody and Robyn nodded in agreement as money moved behind the others' backs. When Robyn's attorney tried to dismiss him as a bitter ex-employee, Brent didn't blink. "I'm not bitter," he said. "I'm a whistleblower." "There's a difference." The gallery erupted. Christine covered her mouth in shock. The judge slammed the gavel again. "Order." When court resumed, her words sealed the moment. "In light of the evidence, a full audit of all accounts from 2016 onward will commence. Non-compliance will result in contempt." Robyn nodded slowly, as if finally understanding what loss really feels like. Meri rose again. "This isn't revenge," she said quietly. "It's restoration." The judge nodded. Then Janelle stood, her voice trembling, not from fear, but from resolve. Enough was enough. And today, we made sure of it. The courtroom fell silent. The old SisterWives world, the lies, the favoritism, the hidden accounts, was gone. And for the first time, justice belonged to the women. The courtroom was so quiet, even the air felt heavy. Every eye was fixed on Meri. Her voice was calm, but her words carried decades of heartbreak. "I'm not here for the money," she began, her tone trembling under the weight of truth. "I'm here because I wasted years watching my children struggle while another family lived in comfort. I said nothing because I was faithful." She turned toward Robyn, her eyes cold, steady. "But fidelity without mutual regard isn't love. It's slavery." The words hit the room like a thunderclap. Even the judge froze. Robyn's lips parted, her voice barely audible. "I thought you both wanted peace," she whispered. "I thought you moved on." Meri tilted her head slightly, serene but cutting. "Peace doesn't mean pretending theft didn't occur." The judge finally spoke. Court adjourned for the day, but no one left. Because just as people began to stand, Brent Mallory, the forensic accountant, dropped a final bombshell. "There's one more account," he said. "An offshore one. Opened by Cody Brown, but funded by deposits from Robyn's business." The room erupted. Robyn's knees buckled. Her lawyer grabbed her arm, but it was too late. The truth was out. Offshore accounts, secret deposits, undisclosed income. What began as a civil suit had just turned criminal. Fraud, tax evasion, money laundering. Outside, reporters swarmed the courthouse. Cameras flashed. Inside, Robyn collapsed into her chair. Christine brushed past her, not even glancing her way. "You always said you didn't want the spotlight," Christine murmured. "Well, now it's yours." When court resumed the next morning, Robyn entered like a ghost. Head down, steps slow, as if walking into the final act of a tragedy she had written herself. By now, the world was watching. Fans huddled outside the courthouse, phones out, waiting to capture history. Inside, Meri and Janelle sat side by side, strong, unshaken. For once, they weren't surviving, they were reclaiming. Then, another surprise. A new lawyer stood. "Your Honor," he said, "I'm with the Internal Revenue Service." Robyn's breath hitched. Her hand shot to her mouth. The IRS attorney continued. "We are seeking immediate production of financial records. They coincide with a federal probe into possible tax fraud and hidden offshore holdings." Robyn's attorney leapt to her feet. "Your Honor, this is an overreach." But the judge cut her off. "These are federal issues. All evidence filed in this court is subject to review." The courtroom buzzed. What was once a family dispute had now become a federal investigation. Robyn began to shake, not dramatically, but in terror. The kind of shaking that comes when you realize the safety net you counted on never existed at all. The IRS lawyer handed an envelope to the judge. Inside were flagged transactions. $37,200 wired to a Grenadian bank. Sender, Bountiful Roots Wellness, LLC. Meri's eyes narrowed. That was Robyn's essential oils company, the one she swore barely made a profit. And yet, here it was, moving five-figure deposits overseas. Robyn was called to the stand again. This time she stumbled. "I didn't realize the account was in Grenada," she whispered. "Cody handled that." The prosecutor's tone sharpened. "Was the business in your name?" "Yes." "Did you authorize the transfers?" I signed a lot of papers. I didn't read most of them." So, you admit you signed legal contracts you didn't understand? Silence. Yes. The judge's eyes hardened. Mistakes in marriage are forgivable. Negligence in legal contracts is not. Even Christine, sitting in the gallery, looked shaken. Robyn's tears came, but no one moved to comfort her. No tissues, no sympathy. Only the heavy sound of justice. The IRS lawyer spoke quietly. We're not here to destroy you, Mrs. Brown, but someone must answer for what was hidden. And that's when Janelle rose. Not angry, heartbroken. I lost money too, she said. I lost years. I cashed out my retirement to help pay for that family property. I lived in an RV while you had 3 fireplaces. And I believed Cody's lies. You weren't just his favorite wife, Robyn. You were his banker. The words cut like glass. Robyn whispered, I didn't know about the offshore account. Meri stood, calm but lethal. You didn't know about the title transfers. You didn't know about the wires. You didn't know about Brent's warnings. Robyn, what did you know? It wasn't anger, it was precision. A blade, not a blow. Robyn had no shield left. Her lawyer tried to stop her, but Robyn brushed her off. I want to speak, she said. The judge nodded. Robyn rose alone. I was scared, she said softly. Cody told me Meri and Janelle would take everything, that we had to protect what was ours. So I signed. I nodded. I let him use my name. I looked away. She turned to Meri. I wanted a secure life for my children, but I built it using pieces of yours. The silence that followed was unbearable. The judge finally spoke. The court issues a temporary seizure of the Flagstaff property pending a federal audit. Cooperation with investigators is mandatory. Robyn sat down again, limp, empty. No tears this time, because this wasn't grief anymore. It was consequence. Outside, cameras exploded in flashes. Christine walked out first, silent. Meri and Janelle followed hand in hand. Reporters shouted, Will you press charges? Should Robyn go to jail? Is Cody next? Meri stopped, then answered quietly. We're not here to ruin people. We're here to reclaim what's ours. But inside, Robyn sat alone. Her phone buzzed. The screen lit up with a name she hadn't seen in months. Cody. She didn't answer, because deep down, she knew he wasn't calling to save her. He was calling to save himself. And when Cody Brown finally walked into that courtroom, it was like a match dropped into a room already drenched in gasoline. The double doors burst open with a force that made the entire room jolt. Cody Brown stormed in, boots striking marble, hair slicked back, jaw like stone. His shirt was starched within an inch of perfection, as if he believed this wasn't a trial, but a performance. Every head turned. Janelle rolled her eyes, barely masking her disgust. Meri didn't flinch. And Robyn, pale, trembling from the previous day's revelations, couldn't bring herself to meet his gaze. She didn't rise. She didn't smile. For the first time in years, she looked genuinely afraid of him. Cody muttered to his attorney, slamming a file on the table. Moments later, the judge entered, unaware that the storm had already broken. As soon as she began the formalities, Cody's lawyer stood. Your Honor, he announced, we are filing a countersuit. Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Meri's pen froze mid-note. Janelle's expression turned to stone. The attorney continued. Mr. Brown is bringing a formal complaint against Meri Brown and Janelle Brown for defamation, misappropriation of funds, and attempted character assassination. This wasn't a defense. It was retaliation. A declaration of war. The judge leaned forward, eyebrow raised. On what grounds? Cody stood up despite his lawyer's warning hand. I built everything this family has, he boomed. I was the provider. The one who kept everyone together. Now these two want to rewrite history because they're bitter. He turned toward Meri. She left years ago. But when Robyn and I finally find stability, suddenly she wants a piece. Then he faced Janelle. And you? What bills did you pay? What loans did you sign? You were off selling supplements while I was trying to keep us afloat. Janelle rose slowly, her voice like steel. That supplement money paid your down payment, Cody. He scoffed. Show me the receipt. Janelle's attorney slid a paper across the table. Gladly. The judge's gavel struck once, sharp, echoing. "Mr. Brown, sit down and stop shouting." Cody smirked and obeyed, dropping into his chair like a boy who thought he'd already won. But this wasn't victory. It was vanity, and vanity never comes cheap. The judge flipped through the countersuit filing. "These are very serious allegations. Are you prepared to submit financial records to support them?" Cody's lawyer nodded. "We are, including mutual account withdrawals made by Mrs. Brown and Ms. Brown." Meri's attorney immediately objected. "Those withdrawals were from the family trust, funds owed to both parties." Cody barked from across the room. "That trust was never legalized." Janelle shot back. "Because you never filed it." The judge slammed the gavel again. "Enough! We'll recess for 15 minutes while the court reviews the counter-filing." Outside, Cody strutted down the hall like a man rehearsing for redemption. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions, but he brushed them off with the same arrogance that once charmed an entire nation. Inside, Robyn sat hunched on a bench, arms wrapped around herself. "You knew he'd do this," Janelle said quietly as she passed. Robyn looked up, eyes rimmed red. "I didn't, not like this." Janelle didn't stop walking. You didn't stop him either. When the court reconvened, the atmosphere was brittle. The judge's tone was cooler now, her patience gone. "This court has reviewed the counterclaim. While admissible, the burden of proof rests entirely on the plaintiff." Cody leaned back, smug. "We're ready, Your Honor." The lawyer stood. "Exhibit A, text messages between Mrs. Brown and Ms. Brown, evidence of coordinated attacks on Mr. Brown's public image." The screen lit up. Janelle's text to Christine. "I'm sick of being lied to." Meri's message, "He gave her everything and left us with nothing." And then the one that made the room freeze, Janelle to Meri, "He won't change. Maybe it's time the world knew who he really is." The judge narrowed her gaze. "Ms. Brown, is this your message?" Janelle stood tall. "Yes, and I stand by it." Cody's lawyer smirked. "So you admit intent?" Janelle fired back. "Intent to tell the truth, which isn't a crime." The crowd murmured. The judge silenced them with a glare. Then, from the defense table, a quiet voice broke the tension. "I need to make a statement," Robyn said. Every head turned. Cody's face drained of color. "Robyn, don't." But she stood anyway. Her voice trembled, but her resolve didn't. "I didn't know about this countersuit. Cody never told me. And I don't condone it." Gasps erupted. Even the judge looked stunned. Cody turned crimson. "You're lying," Robyn continued. "This case should be about financial justice, not revenge." The courtroom exploded in whispers. And in that single moment, Cody Brown's last ally slipped away. The judge looked directly at Robyn. "Mrs. Sullivan Brown, are you willing to testify under oath?" Robyn swallowed hard. "I am." She took the stand again, hands trembling. "Did Meri or Janelle ever ask you to defame Mr. Brown?" "No." "Did you and Mr. Brown ever redirect funds without disclosure?" Robyn hesitated, then whispered, "Yes." The silence that followed was deafening. Cody shot to his feet. "She's lying." The gavel slammed down like a gunshot. "Mr. Brown, you are out of order." Robyn sank back into her seat, trembling and but free. For the first time in years, she wasn't protecting him. And as she sat there, her truth finally spoken, the sound of that gavel echoed through the courtroom like a closing door, the door to Cody Brown's empire. Because the next witness waiting outside was about to bring the whole house down. Outside was about to bring the whole house down. Writing, welcome back to my channel. The courtroom was silent, the kind of silence that carries the weight of every lie ever told. Amber walked to the stand with a calmness that felt almost rehearsed, but her trembling hands gave her away. In her grasp was a small red flash drive, the kind that can destroy lives. She plugged it in, pressed play, and the air changed. Cody's voice filled the room, cold, deliberate, calculating. "No, they'll use it to screw us. Meri's been poking around. She's demanding receipts. This keeps her out." That single line shattered whatever illusion of innocence he still had left. Meri's breath hitched. Her face froze between rage and heartbreak. Beside her, Janelle lowered her head, whispering, "He actually said it." Christine's eyes burned with tears she refused to let fall. The judge leaned forward, his voice sharp. "Mr. Brown, do you deny that this is your voice?" Cody didn't move, didn't blink. His lawyer fumbled, stammering about context and privacy rights, but it was too late. The courtroom had already made up its mind. Even Robyn, usually his shadow, he couldn't hold back. She turned to him and whispered, "You promised me this would never come out." The betrayal wasn't just legal now, it was spiritual, personal, irreversible. And as the judge called for a recess, Cody finally looked up. But instead of defiance, there was something else in his eyes. Fear. Because he knew what came next wasn't just a verdict. It was the unraveling of everything he'd ever built. Stay tuned, because what happened after this moment changed the SisterWives legacy forever.